Peace, YouTube. I see I'm on. I'll just wait for some to come in the room. I'm not used to doing, supposed to go live yesterday on YouTube, but today I'll go live. So, big up to y'all. I'll give you a minute. Peace, Daya. Let you come in. This isn't going to be a long live. You know, I don't necessarily do a lot of live on blog talk, on on YouTube. It was even difficult for me to say that. Hey, Melinda, check on in. Check on in, my sea stars and my sun stars. Do you like the title? Hey, Peace. Hey, Shirley. Hey, Isha. Hey, Stardust. I love that name. Hey, Doshay. Peace. You guys came in so quickly. I love that. Oh, my sirens are activated. Many of you males should be very, very frightened if you're not down with the divine. I know I shouldn't take joy in this. I'm really not. But I am. Magic wands will be deactivated. Yes. And if you know me, you know what that means when I say magic wand, right? I'm very feisty today. I'm doing my show tonight. So also this is just an announcement also that tonight's show is on Blog Talk, obviously 9 o'clock. We do our show on Fifth Dimension. It's really an open mic. I just put a general topic for tonight. So if you want to join us tonight on Blog Talk, 9 p.m., you know how we do. Aquarius rising, 9th gate. But I just want to make this quick video. We've declared war on the Stoic Patriarch, and I'm kind of relishing in the fact that many of the Patriarch are so blinded by their wands. They're so easily incepted. It's really quite shockingly sad that many of the Patriarch are so easily infiltrated by some of these wonderful sirens. So big up to the sirens that are out there doing their job, deactivating many of you disdainful males that are doing harm to the divine. You're out of time. You're done. Your clock is, deactivated. Peace. Yes, many of them are stuck. Thank you, Doshay. They're stuck in their root chakra, but it's by choice. We're in a time where information is flowing left and right. There's no excuse to stay in a particular, a stuck, because there's so much information coming. There's so many waves of elevation, waves that really motivating people to raise up to their highest standards, to their higher self. And if they're choosing to stay in a more materialistically based or a more root chakra based, it is of their own doing, and they deserve whatever comes. The Kraken was released. There's fire everywhere. And there's fire in places where a lot of you are disgusting and have taken on other people's identity and claimed it for yourself. Yes, this video is to gloat. I'm grateful that the divine is chosen. At first I didn't really agree with the Kraken being released and set forth to do whatever, but fire is to burn and to set all ablaze that is not healthy or holistic or down with the divine. And as I've said before, the sirens are doing their job well. You males are so, like I said, you non-divine males, I'm speaking to another platform. I'm not talking to the divine males or sun stars. I'm not speaking to them, but a lot of you Stoic Patriarchs, you misogynists, are so easily incepted. So easily. Based on the fact that you will let anyone around you if you're just enticed by them, if you're just as sexually allured by them. It's so sad that you're so easily incepted. But I'm really grateful that you are, because it makes it easier for us to disseminate what we need to do and get rid of you quickly. So big up to the sirens. That's all I have to say. How is everyone doing? I know I'm so sultry. Yeah, I'm just watching, I'm observing what's happening, and it's so interesting because just a couple weeks ago, war was declared, and Much has been occurring, and some, like I said, there's some losses and there's some wins. That's what it is. We're in a different time. We're in a different dimension. We're in a different paradigm, and for that reason, you're going to, a lot of you are saying you're having different physical, hey, Paraguay's in the house, different physical symptoms and what have you. But we are to a point where our vibrations should be at a certain level. I'm actually hot. I don't do air. I don't do any air, and you always see me sweating. It's okay. I like sweating. Sweating means I detox. Hold on. Oh, the storms. I'm sorry. I'm off topic. The storms, remember, we have people engineering storms on our planet right now. We have people, beings, let me not even call them people, beings that have utilized technology to create genetically modified, thank you, Harp. CERN has a little bit to do with this too. It's not the same. We have different CERN systems that work in alignment with HARP, but they create engineered weather. Okay, they've been doing this. They went against certain principles. They breached a contract, and they're paying for it, because when you bring water, we're going to bring fire. If you bring fire, we're going to bring water. The Kraken was released, and now you're seeing a lot of the West Coast and other places burning. Israel's burning. Why? It's because y'all didn't get it. They sleep on the divine. They think that we're just, complacent, like I said, or apathetic, that we're going to sit here and tolerate the same type of reprehensible behavior that the previous paradigm was continuously doing. We are no longer those females without our consciousness. We are elevated. We've gotten who we are. We accept our divinity, and we will bring it back to you. So this video is just, again, to relish and to also give a big up to those sirens that are partaking in the diminishing, the ushering out of the Stoic Patriarch. And like I said, it's very interesting how sad the Patriarch is so susceptible to the infiltration of the divine. I won't say the sirens are in that divine alignment, because I told you they really don't. Sirens don't really have that ethical, moralistic base. That's why they're usually set out as an element of war. That's how we can utilize them for that, and they're purposeful in that way. But what a easy win. Anyway, join me tonight on Aquarius Rising, 9th gate, 9 o'clock, which is going to be open mic. So if you have any issues with the divine, you could call in. We can discuss it. We can kind of settle it out. Let's see who's on here right now. Hold on. I don't see the comments. It's a little different. I see a lot of people checked in, but I don't see the comments. It's a little different. This is a little different than the FB. I'm not technologically sound. Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, I'll be on Blog Talk tonight, so you can call in if you got beef. If you got beef with Fleur Broom, call in. If you have beef with the divine, if you have issues with the divine coming back in alignment, call in. This is an open mic tonight. So our conversation is on 5D, because that's where we're at. But for all intents, because I haven't done Blog Talk for a couple weeks, we're making an open mic. Barry Littleton's going to join me. He's going to be my co-host. He's going to help me, with talking to everybody. So he's technologically sound, especially with the ET sec. But it'll be fun. Call in. We'll discuss this. Because I'm getting a lot of interesting emails and texts and all kinds of responses from the Stoic Patriarchs. A lot of them are polygamous. I don't want to join your polygamist sect. I have no. I am okay where I am with my mating choices. I need not or choose to stay out of your polygamist hoarding, sexual deprivation ciphers. I think you're very sick if you're living in a polygamous. Now, I'm not going to say, listen, there's a very few polygamists that are, that I probably take least issue with. But for the most part, most of you polygamists are just gluttonous, and you're just greedy. Okay? Because most of us know we can have one thing, and we can be and be holistic with that and bond. It's hard to bond with 2-3 people when you're not even holistic yourself, and you're not building a nation if you're impoverished. So there is no this whole antage that the polygamists are stating that, oh, we're building nations. If you're coming from impoverishment, and it's not a judgment, if you're not of royal bloodline, which 0 of you are, to my knowledge, if you haven't even gained self-awareness and a wisdom based on your experiences and your knowledge that you've received, and you've not even mastered the art of mating with one mate for a long period of time, you are in no condition to enter into, quote unquote, the polygamous lifestyle. Okay? It's part of the old regime. Now, polyandry, I'm not a fan of swapping and exchanging that many energies at once, but that would be more in alignment, just based on it. If you can do it, then the other counterpart can. But a lot of you Stoic males, you just utilize, a lot of you melanin dominant males, carbon males, Hebrew Israelite, I don't know what you are. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm just stating a few that are partaking in this. The Islamic sect. Y'all engage in this sexual gluttony and think it's okay to hurt our sea stars. I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with you doing it. I'm not okay with the sea stars partaking in that kind of relationship sect, especially when they don't realize that how long term it will hinder them physically. Okay, it's very sad, and we've rescued quite a few of our sea stars that are partaking, unfortunately, because they didn't know better. Because we're in an age of knowledge, and I know it's very attractive for our sea stars there's a lot of males out here who have a lot of information, and they're just informational pimps. That's all they are. All they do is read books, regurgitate what they read. They basically have very little insight on how to utilize or gain wisdom based on taking the information and making it applicable in their lives. They're utilizing this to pimp out women or to propose, to get women to come in. I know one who's utilized his entire platform with all this information to pretty much fish and lure females, divine females. And unfortunately for divine females, many of them fall victim to these informational Nazis that are just another, pseudo-conscious pimp. Or, it's sad. I'm not saying all are males. We have some phenomenal males, and I know them. I know of them. There's many that are out there. I'm not speaking to them, and I'm not speaking about them. I want to make sure that I'm not painting everyone with the same brush. But we have to be a little more, we have to have a little more discernment, my beautiful sea stars, especially the young ones. You are so lovely and so green. And I want you to utilize your discernment. I really do. Not everything that glitters is gold. Okay, it's a little old school term. I'm a woman of a certain age. I've been on the planet a while, and I know the mating ritual. You deserve honor. You deserve a relationship, a mate who can direct their energy with you solely, without bringing in, incepting all these other energies and trying to make all these different things work. They always say, you can never cook a meal. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. You can't have too many cooks in one kitchen if you're making a meal. You know what I mean? I want you to practice a little better discernment. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Just do that before you partake in anything. A lot of these scam artists that are utilizing these platforms to pretty much lure our sea stars into these relationships with males that are egotistical, that are narcissists. They're part of the old Stoic Patriarch. they've just taken on a more conscious, more spiritual looking, I'm holier than thou position. And I just want you to just use your discernment for that reason. Use it a little better. That's all I'm asking, because it saddens me. And like I said, we've rescued quite a few of our sea stars that have been abused, have been used in these relationships with these males who are using them for sexual rituals. It was one of our sea stars initially who actually stimulated. She came on the show one time and she stimulated the concern that there were males out here with these huge platforms and I was unaware of one particular, because I'm really not in that sect, so to speak. So I see things and so on. And again, my antics before was I never throw, spirit's cooking, thank you. I never throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't agree with that anymore. I throw the baby, if the baby's sick in the bathwater, they all go out. I no longer take that stance. I totally don't think it's healthy to take information from those or to absorb negativity just to get a little bit of information. I'm no longer, when you go on some of these lecture sects or debate sects, you hear them using so many curses, so many debaucherous speech. Now, I'm not judging why they curse. Listen, off this, some of you know me personally. You do. Some of you know me personally. So off this, I can use all kinds of words or choice words or so on. I generally try to keep my vibration at a certain level, but I do utilize certain words as well. But on a platform when I'm speaking to so many and I'm upholding myself to a higher standard, that I would be okay if my little ones saw this, or if other little ones saw this, or if my parents had seen this, I uphold myself in a higher standard with some integrity. But when you go to videos or you see debates, when people, every kind of M and F'ing, they're saying all kinds of depraved things, and then you're getting some information, but you're getting poisoned in your mind as well. It's not healthy. It's absolutely not healthy. And someone was saying, because on my YouTube, I really don't focus too much on YouTube anymore. I love my YouTube family. You know this. And, a lot of people have been getting deactivated from my account or kicked off. I don't know what YouTube does. They've deleted my account on FB. It is what it is at this point. I feel like whoever gets the information gets it, and that's who's meant to get the information. But someone was saying, how come there's not a larger sect of people who are down with this information? It's because just like the 144,000 out of how many billion people on the planet, that's how many are supposed to ascend or get to a higher level of overstanding or to reach 5D. It's not going to be the majority of people. So when you see these platforms with an immense amount of people following them, that's also a testament that something is incepted in there. Do you know what I mean? And it's not all positive. Because what was most popular before were things like, I'll talk about, like, remember, I used to obsess with looking at the Housewives shapeshift. You remember that, right? So remember I used to watch, like, Housewives of, I didn't watch it all the time, but sometimes people would send me things about, I forgot the names. Housewives, I think, is Atlanta, New York, or somewhere, LA. I like the California ones, you see them shapeshift a lot, and the New York ones. But the one from Atlanta, right? What's her name? Nene Lynx? Nene Lynx was one of those who was the most negative on the show. Does anyone remember this? This is like when I think Housewives started, I can't remember. And she was one of the most depraved mouths. She was the most vicious and aggressive, right? Why is it that the one that was the most depraved ended up gaining the most notoriety? She was brought on shows, all these wonderful shows afterwards, like mainstream shows. Do you know why? It's because you get, in the last paradigm, you get brownie points for being a piece of crap. You get brownie points for as low vibrational as you could possibly be. Look at Kim Kardashian. I don't want to really diss her because I know what she is, and I have a respect for some of that lineage. But she got a lot of notoriety from basically having her yoni exposed. As beautiful as it was, I don't criticize her. She's lovely to look at. She's not really what you think she is, though. Just use your discernment. Some of these entities are able to mess with your bypass your synapses and finesse you, so you see them as what they want you to see them as. But I told you what I think she is, what I know she is, not what I think. But anyway, look at her. Look how much notoriety she's gotten from opening her legs. She's doing photo shoots and so on. Look at T.I. I don't want to go too much on T.I. T.I. was known as a drug dealer. He was someone who was bigging up that lifestyle. And look what happened. They gave him a family show. So do you understand what I'm saying? So please don't question why someone has what you consider to be a following that looks a little more meek than someone who has a grandiose one. That tells you why. Because if I'm cursing all day and I'm utilizing depraved spiritual banter to you all day, of course I will have a host of demonic type of beings who are in alignment with that. If I choose a more family-based premise with a little more holistic value, I'm not saying that I'm the totally most holistic person, but I'm pretty balanced in that way. Perhaps that's something that would not be, and especially the ET element. You know, not many people are into ETs or into discussing contactees and things like that. That's a whole nother, you already know, that's a whole nother genre. And I don't sit well in the community of ET and UFO experiencers because I am a copper person, and unfortunately complexion does matter in that community as well. It just does. I've spoken about that. I don't really want to get too deep into that, but they don't really accept melanin dominant or copper goddesses in that sect. They feel there's that underlying patriarch, that you know, that racial, no race, but you know, complexion issue in that sect. So you know, I will never sit well. Yeah, maybe later, because we're in a different paradigm, but I don't sit well in that community either. But just don't mind people, like if you see big platforms with these males cursing you out, telling you this, having sex with numerous females time and time again, you know, even the pooper, the gentleman who likes to poop on his trees, his people like to he has like a host of people that he has doing all his technology stuff while he's streaming whatever he does. He thinks it's appropriate to poop on trees, or what does he call it? He calls it soil. He's putting back soil in the. Okay, he will curse his people out, block all kinds of people for asking questions or questioning his platform, while he's having sex with numerous women every. Since he's been where he did his exodus, he's had sex with numerous women over a course of 1 year. I mean, and he's utilized his platform to be able to fish for the right ones astrologically that he desires. Go figure that. And our sea stars fall for the okey doke. I'm not saying that he doesn't have some valid points. I think he has done an incredible job at bringing the naturalistic aspect of things out. But do you see how it's dirty too? So it brings, yeah, you have somebody who has all this information about nature and so on, the universe, the holographic universe, and it's phenomenal. But meanwhile, they're utilizing their platform, fishing for all these females, having sex with numerous women under the polygamous stance, don't even want children in their environment, and have issues with the divine. How can you be nature-based and have issues with the divine, with divinity, with the true divine feminine consciousness? Because anyone who's down with the divine would be very, very empathetic towards the female, and be very coddling and very finesse that aspect, and would be respectful of that, especially nature as well. They wouldn't feel it appropriate to do certain things with trees, and you know, and as far as I know, that's all smoke and mirrors anyway, because they're not really outside all the time. They're always inside with like 10 iPads and electronics sitting in a room getting information so they can make videos every day. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sidebarring. Let me stop. I'm blowing spots. I don't mean to do that. I apologize. I apologize for that being. It's not appropriate. I don't want to, you know, they do what they do. If you fall for the okie doke and you think it's okay to be down and support that being, that's just on you. And maybe they resonate with you on that level. But like I was saying, there's a lot of platforms where males are utilizing their platforms to bring in. And I'm specifically talking about mostly the melanin dominant community, the carbon community, because this is not necessarily something that you'll see with the lunar community as far as their spiritual conscious thing. They do something different. It's just different. Different people do different things. Different cultures do different things. Different types of how you've been reared and how the society has treated you makes you react and, create your platforms with that genre, with that, with that frequency on you. So it's a little different. That's all I'm saying. Some of our lunars are not aware of the, pseudo conscious community doing this. I'm making them aware. And I also shout out the other side too, because like I say, on the lunar community, especially the UFO and ET sect, I'm not very well accepted or respected. So, it falls both ways. But like I said, we have to be mindful. Said the Patriarch is trying to suppress breath. We just have to be mindful of how we engage now. I really feel like wherever you are is where you're meant to be. But I will rescue no more sea stars from this. I've made that plight. It is your responsibility, our beautiful, divine, young sea stars, and our older sea stars as well. We have sea stars that are more seasoned, so they're used to being able to discern a little differently. But I won't rescue you anymore. Why? Is because you have to utilize that spiritual first eye. You do, honey. You do, sweet, lovely, divine. You do. And you have to be able, if you're at the point where you're susceptible to that type of infiltration, it says something about you. It says something about your vibration, how you feel about yourself. And I have to allow for that. I can't keep running to the aid of our young sea stars. They have to learn. Just like we take the young males out, males will take their young males out, back the indigenous days, that the males would take the young males and teach them how to be men and hunt and all that stuff, fish, in the indigenous times when that was the primary frequency on the planet, that was ushering them into manhood. And we as the mothers, the aunties, the grandmothers, me being a woman of a certain age who's lived on the planet long enough to see things come full circle, I've had to learn that some lessons are best learned face to face. And I cannot bypass someone's learning and someone's spiritual lessons. You know what I mean? So for that reason, I've chosen to not be complicit. I won't say that, but to allow for our sea stars to learn. Again, if you're to the point where you've chosen to be in that type of position, it's probably a spiritual lesson for you, and also that's where you're at in your stage of development. And for that reason, I just let you be. Okay? But as far as the platforms with these cursing and deprived and I'm obviously I'm not down with that sect. I'm just not. I'm not down with them. I don't really rock in those arenas. I do note them. Remember, before I used to take information from anywhere, throw out the baby with, that's what I used to do, throw out the baby with the bathwater, and then source out what I needed. I have zero tolerance now. I've grown to the point where I am source. Any information that I desire or need will come easily and effortlessly to me and through me. I acknowledge that, meaning that I don't necessarily have to outsource myself to third parties, going out to others. I can get information any which way. You have the internet, which is phenomenal. I'm an old schooler, so for us, women of a certain age, people of a certain age, we used to go to libraries, and that's back in the days. I was from New York. So back in the days when you go and get your microfiche and you look for all this information, you go to other, your professors who were really knowledgeable. I had some of the best professors in New York City. Big up to my professors who really expanded my my mind on certain things. And for that reason, I was able to get a lot of great information, and I can still do that without going through these negative, demonic, vampiric, parasitic platforms or lectures or debates. It's not helpful. And like I said, it's like taking poison but getting a little benefit off of the poison. So you're taking poison just to get a little bit of good health from it. That makes no sense. So I'll ruin certain aspects of my consciousness just to get a little bit of information that I could have sourced out myself, or got it from myself, or asked my guides to give it to myself, or meditate and bring in that resources for myself, or go and source out things for myself. I think a lot of times people are just very lazy. I'm not saying I haven't been lazy. When I was young, I remember a professor sitting in the lecture hall, and I was one of the best writers in there, and I did a half because I was hanging out dancing, because I like to dance. I keep it real. I was young, I was dancing, I had a boyfriend. I didn't do my paper, and I did it last minute, and it wasn't as grandiose as my real work. And my professor called me out in a lecture hall of 400 people and said, "You're lazy. You do phenomenal work and you're lazy." I cried. I was upset, but what he told me the truth. I didn't put much effort into it. I was lazy. I didn't want to do it because I was out doing other things, and I got called out on it. But you best believe that feeling that I had, that calling me out, only made me a better person. It made me realize that there were certain things that I need to focus on if I wanted to be, if I wanted to be successful in whatever especially in college, if I didn't want to get called out again. And it was embarrassing. So I got humbled. And you best believe every paper after that was Butterfuco. I can write. Obviously that's one thing that I have certain gifts, and that was one thing I can elate things on paper so eloquently. I'm grateful for that, but it makes me a little lazy that I could do it. So anyway, I use that as a point to say, stop being lazy. Stop going through dirty people to get your information, sourcing out. You have access to the internet, which has a plethora. I didn't even have this when I was young like you guys. You have a plethora of phenomenal information. Oh my gosh, so much at your hands, at your fingertips. Utilize that. Okay? And I say, even with me, if you don't know what I say, or things I say don't resonate with you, by all means research it. Don't ever believe what I say. Take some of the information and then source it out. See if it sits well with you. See if what I say resonates with you, and it can be backed up with resources. You know what I mean? Never take someone's word as true value. Remember, everybody has their own perspective, but always look at different angles and always verify things. You know what I mean? So, I just wanted to say that. I know I sidebar, right? I get so excited. I'm back. I was away for a little bit. So, like I said, let me see. Okay. So a lot is happening. We're living in, for those of us who are in 5D, quite a few of you are in 5D with me. 5D, if you don't know what that is, then, like I said, don't be lazy. Go look it up. Go resource, see what I'm talking about. We're in 5D. We've picked to live on a new earth, another aspect, another paradigm, which is way more holistic, who is in alignment with divine Tiamat, who is supporting us. We need to just observe and keep a healthy distance. Like I said, I have zero tolerance, whereas before I would tolerate a little bit of negativity just because I didn't want to miss out on something. But that no longer exists for me. I have zero tolerance for those who are not in alignment. I have zero tolerance for those who are harmful to the divine, the elements, and your world is burning. This fire is everywhere. The Kraken has been released. Most people thought the Kraken was bringing the water. No, honey, it's bringing fire. Okay, it's gonna burn your behinds up until you come correct with the divine. And if you bring fire, it will bring water. If you bring water, it may even bring air. So just be mindful of how you conduct yourself right now, because all eyes are on you, each one of you. Like even now, I went to go get my, I went to go get my coffee. I do decaf. Yeah, it's not as much fun, but I'm mindful because my body's changed. And I'm looking at someone who left their Starbucks cups on the floor. And we had a conversation about, divine males asked what they can do, and I said, you can clean up. So I go and I look on the floor, because I'm big. Like I said, some of you know me already, so you already know they call me a garbage picker. I don't appreciate being called that, but I will pick up garbage off the floor. I've always done that. My dad was a big recycler. I grew up like that, so there's a little bit of my propensity. My dad obsessed with recycling, That's his thing, and I picked that up. But you know, someone said, why am I going to pick up dirty garbage? Don't you know I got my recycled? Because you know, I have Starbucks paper towels, napkins that I keep in my car. I picked it up, took my paper towel, picked up the garbage off the floor and threw it out. And guess what? I can wash my hands. Stop being lazy. This is your planet. How you engage with your world is how the world will react to you. If you're a dirty person, if you're okay living in garbage, if you're okay stepping over garbage when you see it, if you're okay seeing that and just walking away like it's not your problem, then you will live in a world that absolutely resonates with that. You will live around beings that resonate with garbage. Oh, the car alarm? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear that? It didn't bother me. Maybe because I'm a New Yorker. That's, you know what's so funny? Whoever, I don't know, somebody must have stated that. That lets you know how everybody's mind is different, because I didn't even notice that the car alarm was, I heard it, but that's how desensitized I get to alarm. That's sad too, to a certain degree, because I'm desensitized to alarms or sounds, loud sounds, because I grew up taking the subway a lot of times, on the train, or hearing cars go fast by, or alarms. So it's that's very reminiscent. That's why everybody's very different. We need to accept people for who they are. So I know I made this long video. What was the more garbage you pick up, the more seems to be, you notice that. Yeah. I'm not a fan of people who litter, as you know. If you want to get me real riled up, do it in front of me. You want to talk about fired up? I have zero respect for those who litter on Mother Earth. It's the most disdainful thing you can do. That and hurting animals. You want to fire Flurburn up? Do that, and I know about it. You'll have issues with me for a lifetime. That's something that maybe I'm changing. I try not to, I don't hold on to that. Like, I won't, I remember, like I said, I had a girlfriend who threw something out. Wait, somebody's on? Maybe I should pay attention to the comments. You a veggie? Am I a veggie? Yes, of course. I'm a veggie. I'm not a vegetable. I love vegetables and fruit. Remember, I grew up a vegetarian, vegan. I grew up everything. I think if you don't know me, for those who are new to Flurburn, remember, I talked about vegetarian and veganism for years. It's my genre. I grew up at a time when there was only rice, milk, and soy. I'm allergic to soy, and I don't mess with rice milk because it has arsenic. I'm an island, come from island people, so they're big fruit and veggie eaters. Okay, they do eat meat too, but so anyone who asks that question, I'm about that life. Yes, I've eaten meat at a time too, and then when I was eating meat and then I got sick, I told you, because I think I made a video about this already. I don't want to go too deep into it. I made a video about I got sick. The doctor said you have to have meat. So if I had to change my life. This when I was younger. I had to change my lifestyle, and I had to eat meat. I did for a short stint of time, but then I only ate kosher and halal, and only organic, and only. See, I'm just saying, if wherever you sit in your engagement of the world is where it at. I have a problem with meat because of how the animals are treated, and how the world engages with how you see animals and how you partake with them and how you consume them is how other beings, will do the same to you and yours. So when people say, "Oh my God, the reptilians eat people," why are you shocked? If you're eating meat and you're eating baby cows, someone's child, then wouldn't you think on a higher level, as above so below, or as other things partake, karmic residue is like, if you're eating baby cows and baby chickens and you're okay doing that, then you're obviously going to have higher beings who are okay with eating you and your children. I mean, it's all relative, right? No one likes me saying that, but it is what it is. Let's keep it real. So, oh, Delbert Blair. Oh, Delbert Blair was cool. You know what's cool about Delbert Blair? Big up to Delbert Blair. I miss him so much. I've not seen him in the ether either. It's very strange. Maybe others have. I have not. But it's interesting because Delbert Blair, if I was having a conversation, the first time I had, it's so funny. The first time I had a discussion with Delbert Blair years ago. I think this is like over what is it, 11, 12 years ago, maybe. I booked before, when I first met him, I booked a session with him, right? I heard all his lectures. I was like, oh my God, I got to talk to him. I think, yeah, was I pregnant? I think I was pregnant at the time. And I was so excited. I had all these questions. I was a prepper at the time. So all I did was talk about prepping for the apocalypse. I told you I went through my own process. So anyway, I speak to Delbert Blair. He calls me because he's calling for the session we booked, right? So he couldn't make it for like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and I nursed my babies, so I was always up late. Was I pregnant? No, I think I was pregnant, or maybe I just had my first. I don't remember. So anyway, I was up late. And he said, is it okay if we do the session like 11 or 12 o'clock at night? It was like perfect, because I was up all the time late. Okay, so 12 o'clock midnight, he calls me. He's juicing. This is Delbert Blair. He is juicing at midnight before he does the session, because he wants to be higher vibrational and have a certain frequency on him and get nutrition as he's doing his session, his lecture, his talking to me. I thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, this man is the bomb.com. I gained so much respect for him that it was on point. Anyway, I know I just sidebarred, but I really appreciated him just because he was just so well-rounded. You know what I mean? He didn't just talk about ET stuff and contacty things. He talked about health, nutrition, how it relates to melanin and people. He talked about, things linked to history. I mean, he was so well-rounded. I really learned so much. Really, I had such a respect for him. He was one of the teachers that I felt his loss the most. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't want to go too far, but he was juicing at 12 midnight. I was like, what? I was like, this is the bomb. He was like, I want my frequency to be good. I'm giving you. I was like, yes, I love that. So, when I had my babies, I always made it a point. I didn't care, because I only used to juice in a day. But if I felt like I wanted to juice at night, he was the one who kind of motivated me to say, why do I have to, limit my juicing? If I want to juice, I felt like I needed juice, I juiced at night. Yeah, I know it's not a big deal, but for me it was cool. Anyway, so we're all good in the hood. I just wanted to say hi. As you know, I used to upload videos. I'm not a fan of doing it, and that it is because I'm a little lazy with that. that I will say, I don't like the uploading process, because you have to sit there and not utilize your time and sit there and let it upload. I prefer to do it live. I don't really edit and all that good stuff. This is what you see is what you get. You meet me in person, like somebody met me and said, Flurbrune, like yelled, where was I? I think it was at Universal Studios. Flurbrune, they were on some sort of ride. They called to me. And then when they come and met me, they were like, you're just like what you are on videos. I was like, what, was I supposed to be somebody different? This is what you get. This is what I am. And you're going to get that in person. That's it. I keep it 1,000. And for those talking about my cleavage, listen, I am a woman. I don't know what the issue is. This is what the problem is with the patriarch, the Stoic patriarch, that obsesses. This is why whoever's concentrating on my bosoms or my cleavage or my natural body as a female, this is why you're incepted so easily by the siren. This is why you'll be one of the ones that they feed off of. I'm a mother. I have breasts. Why should that shock you? I mean, this is, do you understand what I'm saying? It's absurd. This is how unhealthy that paradigm is. Everyone has breasts. Women have breasts. Why is that such a big deal? Yes, you see my bosoms. I used to try to hide it when I first did my videos, because obviously I'm busty. It is what it is. I'm a mother. I'm a woman. It is what it is. I used to get so many comments about my breasts. It was sad. I'm a woman. If you don't have a mother, if you don't have a sister, if you don't have aunties or a grandmother, I don't know what planet you're from. Okay, so please, I'm okay with my, I used to try to hide it. I feel a little self-conscious of it. No, this is who I am. These are part of my body, and you should just accept who I am. That's it. And if you have a problem with women who have breasts, probably this is not the planet for you. especially with the divine coming in, because you're going to see more breasts. And my indigenous women didn't cover up their breasts. They didn't wear brassieres. They just let themselves be. And if they had babies, they could nurse their babies everywhere. It's disgusting how y'all obsess. These are not for a sexual play. These are actually a functionality to feed our babies, to keep it 1,000. Okay? So if you're taking what I have here as something sexual, you really have to think of yourself. And if you call yourself higher or more conscious, and this is something that you perseverate on, it says something about your consciousness. It says something about your limitation. Really. Yeah, people don't cover up their breath. It's sad. It's sad. And again, I used to feel, don't get me wrong, I used to feel self-conscious about being this way. Oh, snap. I'm sorry. I have my car. Yeah, I used to feel subconscious about this way, but I accept who I am, and I hope all you sea stars do. Don't fall victim to these. Don't worry, the sirens will take care of them. And ladies, let me give you a heads up. If any of your males that you're engaging with that are mistreating you right now, and you're staying with them anyway, I've been there, done that. I'm not judging you on it. If you have a siren that wants to take him away from you, let her take him. All she will do is feed off of him, and he will be no more. Let her take him off your hands. Do you understand, sea stars? Right now, there will be sirens who will come for your negligent, low vibrational males that you call mates, fathers of your children, husbands, whatever they are to you. Let them take him. All they will do is take garbage off your hands and make sure that they will dispose of them like they should be. Okay? Let them. You could cry about it with your girlfriends. You can all make some fruit cakes, some raw cakes, and talk about it together, hug each other, support each other, but let the sirens do what they do best. They take these males, they feed off of them, and they dispose of them like they should be. If he's so easily inceptible, he's worth getting rid of. Okay? And the same with males. If you have a disdainful type of female, vampiric female, one that's not loving, nurturing, whatever have you, she's parasitic and vampiric, let another sun star, not even a sun star, let another homeboy take her. If she likes to mess around, that's the universe saying she's not for you. Okay? Because I had some sea stars calling saying that their males were going, left. I said, open up the door a little wider. Let them go fully out. There's a lot of mates. There's a lot of healthy mates. If you need their number, I can give it to you. Stop perseverating on males that are not good for you. It's unnecessary. There's plenty. Do not go into the answer that there's a lack of males, because that's another thing that the Stoic Patriarch, the ones who are engaged in polygamy, they will tell you all day there's not enough males. There's a lot of males. Go outside, sea stars. I don't care if you feel beautiful or not. I don't care if you feel like you're plain Jane or not. Go outside. There are males who will call for you, who will try to talk to you. There's males everywhere. Okay? You want to get one that matches your frequency, but I'm just saying there's not a shortage. There's a lot. And there'll be a lot more if you start getting rid of the ones that are not good for your energy field. Okay? Because they're unhealthy for you. So let them go. Okay? So and like I said, the sirens are here to do your job, to do their job. Let them do their job. Release him. So again, if you have a male who likes to disregard you and disrespect you and has his magic wand in every other outlet, let him go. The sirens will get him. They probably already have him. I know a siren right now. Say I shouldn't blow this spot, but I will say this. I know, no. I know one siren right now. I know her, who's got one of these major platform beings that's really disgusting. She's got him by his magic wand, and she is taking care of our problem. Let them do their job. Okay, release them, and like I said, throw that back into the water, and you'll get a bigger, more masterful mate. Okay? And like the males don't quantify themselves with one mate. You sea stars have to start to, taste, do your taste testing, and stop engaging with one and giving one undeserving mate everything. Okay? If he's not someone you've dedicated or made a bond of marriage or what have you, then why are you giving him everything? Let him earn that. Same with you sun stars. You give these, disdainful, females that are unhealthy everything. Let them earn that. That's a rite of passage. You give too much too easily. It's laziness. Let them earn it. Okay? If they want to mate with me, the requirement is you have to bring me fruit. Big up to Kirk. I know I had a Leo. My Leo likes to do things, but there's a Taurus who's brought me some avocados. I love that. Let them earn it. If they want to be with you, let them earn that rite of passage. I mean, and again, if you're in childbearing age, let him earn you giving him a child. Why are you ladies giving your eggs, allowing your eggs to be, fertilized by non-worthy males whose bloodline you shouldn't be extending? Right? Why are you doing that? You should not stimulate his bloodline. If he's not a nice person, I don't care how big and masterful his wand looks. If his wand is in every other Stargate, his wand has lost its zest. It no longer is a magic wand. It's actually like a dead limp branch that has no magic. Why do you want to be with that? And why do you want to perpetuate it with the child? Okay? Don't stop giving these males their bloodline passages back into our realm. Stop that. Let the sirens take them, eat them up, spit them out, and they will be no longer. And get yourself a masterful bloodline and perpetuate with that one. Okay? Keeping it 1,000. Anyway, I know poor males. A lot of our males are going to be like, Fleur, but why are you doing this? Because I love you. I love our sea stars, but I love our sea stars, and they need so much more help, and they need more support. And I'm here to do that. Okay? Especially for the families. I'm a representative of the families, the elders, the children, and the mothers, and even the fathers. I'm a holistic representative. I support the family system. I do. So for that reason, I will always promote healthy mating and healthy, union status. All right. For that, I love babies. There's a lot of babies being born, wonderful star seeds coming in. I love that. And I love seeing when the frequency of the parents is because you bring in older ancestors. The healthier and the higher in frequency is a higher frequency child to bring in star seeds. Star seeds come from higher field parents. They're not going to come through disdainful, materialistic, lower vibrational beings. They won't. And why do you think a lot of the celebrities are also using surrogates? Surrogate, because you bypass some of the karma too. So they can bring in star seeds via another vessel, because if the vessel does not have as much karma, they can bring that baby through that vessel with a higher, trying to bring a higher ancestor in through another vessel, not their own, because they've done so many sexual rituals. They probably killed children or condoned it, Satanistic type of things. Yeah. So why do that when they can get themselves a surrogate? But they don't realize the surrogate, it's all relative. The surrogate is probably one of their own too. It's unhealthy. Anyway, so trying to bring in star seeds instead of demons. Yeah, well, demons, yeah, exactly. Demons, yeah, because if you, yeah, I love, yeah, yeah, Satanists, I've talked about Satanists before, and I've talked about them in a very realistic way. I've said that there are Satanists, but there are Satanists that I know that were born into that life. They don't really want to be in it, but unfortunately their bloodline has been a contract, and I try to stay out of the way. They came at me. I had to deal with some lately, and they got dealt with. You don't come for the divine, especially not now when I'm in my home court advantage. I'm just not the one. But you have sex with males who are, drug-induced, alcoholics. Those are all beings who have demonic attachments, and it's attached to their sperm. So when that sperm, penetrates and that egg, you've got a demon attached, or maybe a couple. So the ancestor that comes is going to have those elements in it. And but remember also, I know people who are recovering addicts, or beings that are stopped doing that kind of activity when they decided to have children, and the children come out healthier and higher vibrational. So, you know, I don't want to judge people who used to engage in drugs or alcohol. You know, people change and evolve, and that's cool. And that's a wonderful thing. So we have to also give credit to those who evolve and see a better, higher, want a higher way of living and thinking, and they change. And we have to be okay with people who evolve and change. You know, I don't want to hold someone to the standard of their previous self, especially when they've changed and morphed. I'm not the same person that I was when I was 20. I was not the same person that I was when I was 30. I'm different. So, you know, if I've done things at 20 that I would not want someone uphold that when I'm later in life, because I've changed. You know, I've learned lessons, I've engaged in the world differently, I've gained wisdom. So, you know, I've made mistakes and I've grown past that. Sometimes. Some people don't, but I did. Certain things I did. Okay? I still have to work on other things. I love you too. Well, anyway, family, I did this live on, because I did cheat you guys yesterday. I tried to go live on YouTube. I'm on so many sites, I forget. YouTube yesterday. I guess the message was not meant for YouTube, so it's okay. But I wanted to give some of myself to you today. Like I say, I only come from filling my, if my cup is full, I will give from that. When my cup is not full, then I will not be able to, you know, to extend myself. I only give when my cup is overflowing, and it's overflowing. Anyway, so join me tonight if you want to call. I'll share the site. Oh, I'll share the whatchamacallit. I'll share the link of Blog Talk on here. Call. If you've got issues with the divine, like I said, call. We want to, that I'm holistic in. I love to hear different vantage points, and I'm respectful of that. So if you want to talk tonight, and it's, like I said, it's open. If any of you polygamists want to call in and, you know, talk about why you do what you do, call for Brown tonight. Barry Littleton's going to be with me. It's an open mic. So, you know, this way you can, you know, speak your truth. You know, everybody's perspective is their own perspective. It's at 9 p.m. tonight Eastern on Blog Talk. I'll put the link in the message here, you know, wherever I can put it here, and call in. Okay? And you know, I open up the call thing will be open mic. So we'll discuss a little bit of 5D and we'll go straight into calls. Okay? So this way, you know, many of you I haven't seen or spoken to you for a while. This would be nice. And if you're having experiences with any of these things, it would be great. But again, it's open mic. It's whatever you want to discuss that's in the realm of metaphysics, the occult, you know, ET, UFO, the solar eclipse, how that affected you, the storms, how do you feel about HARP? You know, do you feel like there's really a manufacturing, you know, technology that's creating these GMO storms? You want to talk about that? You want to talk about the Exodus, going to Brazil, what have you? This is your night to discuss whatever you got. It's actually your forum tonight. All right. So I love you. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry, I come on with no warning. Okay. You know, we can have our wonderful discussion this evening. It's a beautiful day today. I want to actually go chill out. Okay. So I love talking to you. And again, for those who have issues with the female form, this is not a time to be on the planet. Because even with our males that are transgender, they really have appreciation for the female form. That's why they want to have that too. I think that's beautiful. It's something to mimic. So, you know. So big up to our family in every state, every country. Join us tonight on Aquarius Rising 9th Gate. And we'll be talking to you soon. I love you. Peace.